Jesus is the Son of God. I forgot how it is, how it's written in Greek, but I have checked many of these verses. Huios Tetheu, I believe it was. Anyway, let's start off with Daniel chapter 3. Nebuchadnezzar, after being told by Daniel his vision, the golden statue, the silver chest, the bronze legs, the iron feet, and the clay and iron toes, Nebuchadnezzar seems to misinterpret this, and he builds a giant golden statue of himself. And he tells everybody to worship it or be killed. Daniel's three friends refuse to worship it because it's a sin to God to worship anything except for God. So Nebuchadnezzar challenges and says, if I throw you into the fire, will your God save you? And they say, our God can save us. And even if he doesn't, we will not bow down before it. Nebuchadnezzar's angry. He tosses the three friends, Daniel's three friends, into the fire. And something happens. There are 4 people in the furnace, and nobody is burned. So he says, lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. So this is a very interesting chapter because, yes, Jesus was there in the furnace. And Nebuchadnezzar even acknowledges that this is the Son of God. He goes on later on in the chapter to say something along the lines of, God has sent his angel, his messenger, Malach, to protect you. The angel of the Lord. The angel of the Lord must have had a very powerful reputation at this time, and this is the Son of God. This is the one who wrestled with Jacob. This is the one who spoke to Samson's parents. This is the one who spoke to Gideon. And many people have encountered the angel of the Lord, and they knew it was God. Matthew 4:3, the tempter came to him and said, if you are the Son of God, command these stones to be made bread. Matthew 4:6, Satan said to him, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will give his angels charge concerning you, and in their hands they will bear you up, lest at any time you dash your foot against a stone. Matthew 8:29, and behold, they cried out, saying, what do we have to do with you, Jesus, you Son of God? Are you come here to torment us before the time? So these are the demons being cast out of people. Matthew 14:33, then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, of a truth you are the Son of God. Matthew 26:63, Jesus held his peace, and the high priest, the Pharisees, answered and said unto him, I adjure you by the living God that you tell us whether you are the Christ, the Son of God. And Jesus said, yes, I am. Matthew 27:40, and saying, you that destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself, come down from the cross if you are the Son of God. Matthew 27:43, he trusted in God, let him deliver him now, if he will have him, for he said, I am the Son of God. Matthew 27:54, now when the centurion, the Roman centurion, and they that were with him watching Jesus saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, truly this was the Son of God. Mark 1:1, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Mark 3:11, and unclean spirits, when they saw him, fell down before him and cried, saying, you are the Son of God. Mark 15:39, and the centurion which stood over against him saw that he so cried out and gave up the ghost. He said, truly this man was the Son of God. Luke 1:35, and the angel answered and said unto her, the Holy Ghost shall come upon you, and power of the highest will overshadow you, and therefore also the holy thing which will be born of you will be called the Son of God. Luke 3:38, which was called the son of Enos, which was called the son of Seth, which was called the son of Adam, which was the Son of God. That's true. Adam was the Son of God, but not quite the exact same as what Jesus was. Adam was perfect, essentially, but incomplete. There was a piece of him missing. Jesus was not missing this piece when he was born to Mary. Luke 4:3, the devil said, if you are the Son of God, command the stone that it be made bread. 4:9, he brought him to Jerusalem, set him up on the pinnacle of the temple, and said, if you are the Son of God, cast yourself down from here. Luke 4:41, the devils also came out of many, crying, you are Christ, the Son of God. And he rebuked them, saying that they should not speak, for they knew he was Christ. Luke 8:28, and when he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, what do I have to do with you, Jesus, you Son of God Most High? I beg you, torment me not. Luke 22:70, and then said they all, are you the Son of God? And he said unto them, you say that I am. That's the most boss response ever. Are you the Son of God? You people say that I am the Son of God amongst yourselves. That's crazy, because everybody knew he was the Son of God. He just wouldn't say it outright until the crucifixion. Jesus kept it a secret that he was the Messiah. He told Peter, he asked Peter, who do people say that I am? who do you say that I am? And Peter said, you are the Messiah, the Son of God. And Jesus told Peter to be quiet about it because he has to suffer many things. But yeah, everybody knew he was the Messiah. Everybody knew he was the Son of God, but it was kind of like an open secret. You say that I am the Son of God. John 1:34. And I saw and bear record that this is the Son of God. So this is John the Baptist speaking. John 1:49. Nathanael answered and said unto him, Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel. John 3:18. He that believes on him is not... Actually, let's start with John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believed in him would not perish but would have eternal life. John 3:18. He that believes on him is not condemned, but he that believes not is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. John 5:25. So this is Jesus speaking, John 3. That's Jesus speaking to Nicodemus. John 5:25. Verily, verily, I say to you, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live. So he's talking about the people in Sheol. He's talking about Adam, Abraham, Moses, Elijah. Oh, not Elijah. Elijah went to heaven. But all the prophets, all the saints, all the righteous men, they all died. They went to Sheol, but they didn't go into the fire. The hour is coming when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live. They will rise from the grave. John 9:35. Jesus heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found him, he said, Do you believe on the Son of God, the blind man that he healed? John 10:36. Say you of him whom the Father has sanctified and sent into the world, you are a blasphemer, because I said, I am the Son of God? John 11:4. When Jesus heard that, he said, This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. John 11:27. She said unto him, Yea, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, which should come into the world. John 19:7. The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. That's not in the Torah, that somebody should die for claiming to be the Messiah. If you claim to be a prophet, but you speak against the Torah, that's one thing. If you claim to be a prophet and you give a prediction, the prediction doesn't come true, that's one thing as well. But the Torah and the prophets clearly say that the Messiah is divine. John 20:31. And these are written that you might believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you might have life through his name. So that'll be it. I'd like to read, I'm going to recite Psalms chapter 2 off the top of my head. Why do the heathen rage and the people plot a worthless thing? The kings of the earth and the rulers conspire against Yahweh and against his Mashahaka, I believe the word was, which is like anointed, Messiah, saying, Let us cut their bands from us and cast their shackles from us. He that sits in the heavens shall mock them. He will cast them into sore derision. Then he will speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. I will declare the decree. Yahweh has said unto me, You are my... Yet I have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. So this is the Messiah. I will declare the decree. Yahweh has said unto me, You are my son, this day have I begotten you. Ask of me, and I will give you the heathen for your inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for your possession. You will dash them to pieces as a potter's vessel. Anyway, kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and he perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are they who put their faith in him. So we see that the Messiah is the Son of God, the King of Zion, and that those who kiss him and put their faith in him are blessed. This is a prophecy from David, Psalms chapter 2. So, yeah, there's nothing in the law that says that the Christ should be put to death because he calls himself the Son of God. That's not in the Torah. The Torah and the prophets very clearly point to the Messiah being divine. But the Pharisees don't really believe in the Torah. They pretended to, and they killed the Messiah because they were jealous, and he rose from the grave and they were terrified. That's it. They knew he was the Messiah. They killed him because they wanted to stop the Messianic kingdom from coming. When he rose from the grave, they were terrified because they realized that they had failed, and they just doubled down and kept saying, you know what? Whatever it is we're fighting, we're going to keep fighting it until the very end. And that is why the Pharisees are children of the devil, as Jesus called them.